So good afternoon, and we are live in Kingsport, Tennessee. And this is going to be Pam Grantham. You'll see her in a moment. She's gonna do a live workshop, and I just want you to know that we are here, and this will be available to watch later. So you can go home to your clubs and say, we were live, let's find the video, okay?
For y'all who don't know me, I think just about everybody does. I'm Pam Grantham, and I'm the president of Altrusa of Jack. And I'm also the outgoing DSB editor. And we're so happy Nicole Brown from Enterprise is going to be our new DSB editor. So today we are going to talk about social media and Altrusa. All right. And hopefully we're going to learn something new. How many of y'all have heard the statement, you can't teach an old dog new tricks? How many of y'all have a dog that you try to teach something? So I have learned that with our lovely little dog, it's not a can't so much as a don't want to, right? Don't do it. So this is Brutus. Of all people, he does not like Jennifer. We haven't figured that out yet. But when we got him, he was a rehome and a rescue, and he was 7 months old. And he had never had any training whatsoever. So for the first 2 months of his life with us, we tried everything we could do. My carpet got hurt. We got to have me for it all through the house. That dog is he's mean. We learned he liked two people, my mama and me. And he tolerates Jody. He would look at you, I'd be like, can you go outside? And he'd look at you dead in your face and then hike his leg and be on the couch. Luckily, we found a lady who does puppy boot camp. And I paid her a sizable amount of money to train my dog. And he does. He goes outside now. He loves his kennel. And he still don't like people. He barks all the time. So hopefully today we're willing to learn something and we're not going to be like Brutus. There we go. So what about y'all? Do y'all want to learn something new? So, we may not learn something completely new today, but maybe we can find a new way of doing something. So, all right. We want to get all of our clubs into the digital age because that's where the society is headed to. Which most of us are already in the digital age, thanks to COVID. So, we need to think over. I, however, have not figured out the clicker. We know that's live.
We know we're live. We have currently 2 people watching us live on stream.
All right. So we're going to try to keep ourselves grounded today, and we're basically going to go over Altrusa and social media practices. And this little baby right here is Molly Girl, who belongs to Miss Suzanne already.
She's in doggy heaven.
Aww. So why do we want to use social media? Okay. All right. So social media provides a direct platform of communication. How many of y'all have checked Facebook today? How many have checked it more than twice? It's handy. It's instant. So social media provides this direct communication between our members, our prospects, and our admirers. Because there's some people out there who just like to see what we do. Most clubs use an average like or following content to measure their social media social media success. But we have to realize now, no matter how many people look at it, it's also a key driver to content distribution and our brand visibility online, if it's done right. Now, brands is something you hear a lot, especially on Instagram. Everybody has their own personal branding. And that's one thing we have to do with our clubs is we have to, even though Altrusa is our brand, we have to make it known within our social media world. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn are tailor-made to share our stories. While social media management often fails under club marketing umbrellas, it's more about the connection and the storytelling that you do on your pages. How many of y'all have club pages? How many of y'all have public club pages? Okay. Public club pages, and we're going to talk about a little bit more, but how many of y'all post on your club pages weekly? Besides Julie. That is where we've got to move to. To be out there and to be out there and to keep connected and to be within the social media, we have to be constant. So anyway, we're going to talk over a little bit. We're going to talk over a little bit of the logistics, and I am flipping everywhere. Y'all just excuse it. The logistics of social media. In a minute, I'm going to talk about Facebook and Instagram, and at the end of it, Ms. Sheila's going to talk to us about YouTube. So, because she is our dedicated Altrusa YouTuber here. So, we have Facebook. No matter of all the social media platforms out there, Facebook is the largest. It has an average 2.7 billion monthly users. It remains the most popular in the entire world. From a marketing perspective, Facebook serves as a platform that builds community. How many of y'all are members of groups in Facebook? My mother cannot do anything else, but she can make a Facebook group. She has 20. And she will send you messages at 2 o'clock in the morning. Usually it's like a recipe that there's no way you're going to make, just so you know. And she'll put people I don't even know she's friends with. They're my friends. They'll be so if you get a message from Margaret Johnson, just ignore it. So, all right, but in Facebook, in any really social media platform, the biggest thing is one, you need a page, and it needs to be visible, but mostly it needs to have your complete information. How many of y'all checked your club pages lately? Is your information up to date? Ours is not. So, well, it's not. So we want to make sure we fill out that. I'm trying to read my notes so I can see. So we want to make sure we fill out our company information completely. We want to have our location, our contact information, and we want to include an overview of what Altrusa is. We want to invite our existing contacts to like your page. When all your members should be a member of your local page. And then you want to encourage all your members to invite all their friends to be a member of your page. So in addition to Instagram, you probably realize that they're owned by the same company as Facebook. They're together. And you can, and we'll talk about it a little bit, whatever you post on Instagram can be shared to your Facebook page. And I don't know if you can to Instagram because I never really use it that much. Well, no. So we want to, once we get everything set up, we want to be able to put a value by sharing our content. Jack, we're fairly active. I say fairly because I was explaining to a lady this week that we have 11 monthly meetings and we have 5 big fundraisers basically. And so that's basically 16 days out of her life every year. That doesn't seem very active in the grand scheme of things, but we're always constantly doing something. So we can always put something on our Facebook page. And when we're not, we can share something encouraging. We can share something other clubs have done. We can share something that one of our members have done. We can share our Astra stuff. We can share, there's enough content that you should have an ability to be constantly sharing something in your outlet.
Okay. So in your club, is there one person, probably you, who is responsible for posting everything? Or have you been able to share that responsibility or alternate it?
We really do probably need a social media director for our club, but right now, Jennifer shares stuff, I share stuff. It's just whoever has access to our admin right now. But in all honesty, we probably do need a specific person who or a committee even, that would take care of it. Because, and we're going to talk about a little bit later, Facebook pages, which is the app Facebook has, a secondary app that allows you to access your pages without going through the Facebook platform itself. You can even set up in those where you can go through a month's worth of publishes and set dates on when it publishes out. So you're not somebody sitting there every week trying to find something. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. All right. So, and with Instagram, as we talked about Facebook, they're not the biggest worldwide, but they still have over 1 billion users. And, theirs is mostly pictures with captions, but still you can utilize very much with your local club. They do offer business pages, which is also what we utilize as a club because it's what we are, technically. And you can, same thing, you can invite your existing people, you can post daily, you can post weekly, however. Instagram is used primarily people who want to post multiple times daily. Facebook is a little bit more old school. You still see people in your information, even if they're not posting 3 or 4 times a week. They're posting like once a week, once a month. It still works.
Is there a cost to Facebook pages?
No.
Cool.
So, we move on. Okay. These are the apps that, that's my phone, unfortunately. My husband said I need to take half the stuff off. But these are the apps that we suggest. Of course, you have your Facebook. Like I said, it's Business Suite for Facebook is the app we're going to talk about in a minute. Instagram, and of course, YouTube. And all these apps are completely free. So they're for everybody to download. So as we move forward, we're going to start by telling you what kind of transpired this whole thing. I asked my mother the other week, I was telling Ms. Clares earlier, I asked her the other day when I was preparing for this, I said, how do you post on Facebook, Mom? And after giving me a very dead serious look, she goes, I just hit a bunch of buttons. And like I said, that I get messages at 2 o'clock in the morning. But this is socialimpact.facebook.com. This is Facebook's site for nonprofits that does a step-by-step on how to set up your club website page. Because that's what we are. We're nonprofits. And there's this whole thing. And also, if you already have a Facebook page, this is a wonderful thing to read just about how to, about tools and information and making sure if you got the foundation, like the District 4 Foundation is set up as a charity on there. And so you can do, Facebook will let you do fundraisers. Have any of y'all participated or done a fundraiser on Facebook? Well, when you set up as a charity, you can be recognized as a charity and you can do fundraisers toward that charity. Like I said, the District 4 Foundation is set up as a charity. I know I've done it. I know Jennifer's done it. I know Miss Sheila has done it. For our birthdays, you can set up a fundraiser and people can donate to that fundraiser in your name for your birthday. And so that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So, yes, ma'am.
We had trouble with people getting crank calls when you do that.
Mhm.
I did it for a friend in Texas, and I got all sorts of junk.
Privacy settings.
I felt like it went to
Privacy
a
settings.
scam artist.
Yes, and that's all pretty much set up in privacy settings. You want to make sure you do not share any of your private personal information when you're setting up your Facebook account. But, and anytime that you do get a scam and you can reference it back to something that is a cyber scam, you need to make sure that you contact your local police department. My mom, about 3 years ago, someone wiped out about $10,000 out of her bank accounts from where she paid someone on Facebook and had her Facebook settings not private. She was luckily we were able to get it back, minus about $100, which in the grand scheme of things wasn't a lot compared, but you got to make sure your privacy settings work. Because regardless of what you're doing, if it's there, they can get it. So we're going to bring this. I like screenshots, so this is a screenshot of my Facebook. Please ignore if you see crazy children running around. But this is the Altrusa Facebook page, accessed from mine as a club member versus as in from the business suite. And I just wanted y'all to see it for just a second. As you can see, our charcuterie board thing over here, we did that for a membership drive last month. And it was put on by Enterprises, Miss Karen Kelly. She did a wonderful job of it. We enjoyed it very much afterwards, too. So, we want to start by I think everybody's familiar with the way Facebook sets up, but I just want to just kind of look at it for a second. We're going down here.
And what I thought was interesting when I was just looking through our Facebook page, that picture of the food on there, there were over 1,000 people reached for that post. And, I would have never thought that, but there were over 1,000. It doesn't show right there, but when I scroll through it shows how many people were reached. It was over 1,000 people just with one post.
Don't you want to hashtag your post too?
Yes, that is one thing, especially with Instagram. They kind of more. They like the hashtag, and it's really, and when we get to Instagram, we'll talk about it. Like today, we're the District Four conference, and so, we can come up with a very unique hashtag for today. You can call it the District Four, or the 2020 conference, or the District Four conference, or whatever, because we're all here for a singular thing, and so we'll talk a little bit more about hashtags when we get to the Pinterest. Pinterest is a good thing to do. But we'll talk about it more with Instagram because Facebook allows you to hashtag and you can see the hashtag and you touch the hashtag and you see all the things that are associated with that hashtag. But Instagram is the one who uses it primarily.
Can we just discuss the charcuterie board?
Yes, I saw where you'd like to
I
come.
know, I wish I could have gone to that.
I took notes. I have like all her notes. It was very good. We had, I think I counted it 12 non-members show up that day. So for Jack, this year we actually do have last year we had the largest club membership we've had in a long time. We went from about 13 members to 23 members. And then we had potentially 12 more members. Beverly did not come, but she did join us last week, so. She's our newest member. She's been with us a total of 1 week. And she came, so, but, and her sponsor is Jennifer Gatlin. So when we're talking about, did I show you, hold on, hold on back just a second. I showed y'all Molly Girl. Go on. Come on. All right, that's Jennifer's dog, Reese. And that is Carter, that's Miss Lisa's dog. We see Carter on Facebook.
Yeah, Carter's. Yeah.
And I appreciate y'all sending the pictures. My mom said I got too happy with dog clip art, y'all. So there's two ways that we're going to talk about accessing from our personal Facebook pages accessing our club pages. Okay. First is the search option. And I had to show Mama where the search option is, so I figured we might need to show everybody where the search option is. That's the little magnifying glass there at the top of your screen. You can type in where you want to go. It takes you to that page. Or down here at the bottom, there's a flag. That's for pages, and it'll take you to those pages. All right. If you are an admin, typically your pages show up at the top in the little circles. And if you are not an admin and you just like your pages, you'll click the like area, and then they show up in on a separate, it pulls up the separate pages, a list of your likes. And I realize I like way too many pages, so. Are y'all are you familiar enough with this to understand where everything is? Okay. All right. So now this is where I search for Altrusa Jack, because it's always usually in my search. It keeps your recent, so it's always there. And these are just the typical things you have. You know, you can create ads. Now ads do cost, but you can create ads to boost your stuff. There's your inbox and notifications based off, and this is if you're considered an admin. Let me just go and say that. There's inbox and notifications, so forth. It comes down a little bit, and you have your create your post, so you can create your post and put pictures, what have you. Your members, even if they're not admin, you can go on and put a post on the page, on the Facebook page. You can share pictures to your Facebook page. And there's more pictures of the charcuterie board that Samantha really wanted to go to and win the door prize.
I did, that door prize was awesome.
Yeah.
It was, tell them what it was.
It was a basket full of items to create a charcuterie board, including a board,
A very nice.
tongs, cheese knives, slate cheese markers, and bowls. And a pretty basket, put it all in. So, you can also share your events here, create events. If you're an admin, you have full access to your site through just the basic Facebook app. You don't really have to have anything secondary unless you want something secondary. All right. Now this is the business pages for Facebook. It's a little different. So if you go, it's a secondary app, and when you open it, it shows you all the pages that you have, that you are the admin for. I'm an admin on the District 4 page, and of course, you know, our Sign Chapel page, because that's our big fundraiser, and so forth. And so and it gives you notifications to the side of either comments, posts, same thing you have in your personal, you know, comments, posts, inbox questions, whatsoever. And when you open up in the Facebook business pages, it looks a little different. It does not look like your typical Facebook, you know, straightforward. It has a little difference to it, but you can create a story. How many of y'all use the story on your Facebook page? I never did. I'll say, Mom, I know I put that on there, and then it's up here in story, and I'm like, what is it? Anyway, if you create a story, you can create a story that literally shows you usually at the top of your Facebook app when you open it, a list of people that you have a story from. But we want to talk about publish. So publish is where we're going to create our post. It's going to open up. It's going to be very similar to your Facebook app. You can put a photo. You can share your location. You can do a live video, like Miss Jimmy. You can, you can also get messages and reply to them there, which is really cool. I did not know that till the other day. But on your location, and this is something, especially if you live out in the middle of nowhere like Jack, Alabama is, we have a Dollar General, a school, and a caution light, and a post office that's open sometimes. So you can share your location. If you're having an event, if you're expecting members, you can share your location. If they click on that post, they have access to where you are, and they can find you. So, once you create your post, Facebook will, and this is what I don't have a screenshot of, I just realized, Facebook will ask you if, are you ready to publish it? It's like a last minute, I didn't do it right, look at it one more time. But you also can set it as future posts. So you could sit down on Sunday, the first Sunday of every month, and do a whole list of posts and have them to access every Monday morning at 7 o'clock or something. So it gives you the opportunity to postpone your post, which is very handy if you're busy. Do we have any more questions on Facebook before we go to Instagram? All right. So now we're going to talk about Instagram. And by the way, for the Enterprise Club, this is Selena Schumann's page, or Selena Embry's page.
Okay.
We went, when you grow up with them, they carry that maiden name until they die. So anyway, this is Instagram. Now, Jack does not have a club Instagram. I'm going to try to get us one this week, though. This is my personal Instagram. So when you go to create a story or create a post on Instagram, it is 99% pictures. So that's one thing you want to make sure as a club, if you're going to be especially active in Instagram. It's great for Facebook, but if you're going to specifically act in Instagram, take lots of pictures. For two reasons. One, like Instagram, it's primarily a photo-centered app. Two, people want to see what you're doing. If all you tell people is, hey, come join Altrusa, well, what's Altrusa?
Not good.
We're a nonprofit. We work a lot in literacy. If anybody ever asks you about Altrusa, you can't remember nothing. So the pictures speak volumes. Pictures of you working, pictures of, where you work, the projects you do, the recipients of the projects. Pictures speak volumes. So this is basically, like I said, this is just pictures from my Instagram. That literally I have 10 pictures on Instagram, and that's the total of my Instagram. I'm not very active on it. But this is, excuse my dirty car. So this is the one I posted last week of Brutus's toy up underneath Jody's tire when Jody thought it was a snake. So to do Instagram, basically you select the picture, you have the option to edit a picture, you give it a caption, you give it a hashtag, and you post it. And it's fairly simple. And I want you to see this over here. When you do Instagram, it allows you to link your Twitter account, link your Facebook account, and when you access it through Instagram, it also will post on your Facebook or your Twitter account, which is wonderful.
Can you define hashtag? I'm sorry, I just don't know what it is. I've heard it, but I know it's kind of like it tags along after a picture or something, but
That's exactly, it
I've seen
tags.
so many
It
different-
starts with I had to ask my niece,
Yeah.
just so I got this right, because it's a little much for me. It allows you, it's called a hashtag. The hashtag is the hash symbol, it's the number symbol. That's what it's called, hash. And it lets you allow to give you a specific tag to your picture. So I'm going to use Samantha. You could do hashtag Oak Ridge Altrusa. And so anybody who hashtags that, you can access it by clicking that tag, and it will list everything that's posted with that
It
hashtag.
looks like a link.
It's almost, yeah, that's exactly, it's almost like a link.
So you can actually click on it because it will outline it for you.
So it
and you
links
think-
every single person in the entire world who uses hashtag Altrusa Oak Ridge. You click that hashtag line, and it will take you to a site with every single post that had that hashtag used. So
It's-
it's common information.
So when you use the hash,
The hash symbol and the number sign.
yeah,
yes.
when you use that symbol,
Use it first and then create a non-space. It's gonna be one long thing. But you want to pick something that is unique. As Altrusans, there's probably not another Altrusa of Jack anywhere in the world. So we can do hashtag Altrusa of Jack, and anytime anybody uses that, it's there. You know, you can even be more specific. You can add multiple hashtags. So you can hashtag not only your club, then you can hashtag your event, or even specific people that's at the event. Like, for instance, we had the our international rep, we could do her name, and so it would show anybody who ever tags her name throughout the world. So it's sometimes a little cumbersome, but also it's very useful in organization.
I have no idea.
So, do we have any more questions about Instagram?
I should turn my phone off.
All right. So, for our next bit, because we've gone over Facebook and we've gone on Instagram, I figured before I started to fumble through YouTube, I would ask our YouTube expert to talk about YouTube. And that is Ms. Julie.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about a few things, and it's not prepared.
You want the,
No, they're gonna hear me, and I'll try and speak real slow so that you get the accent. If you have Facebook, first of all, you can go live on Facebook. She said a picture is worth 1,000 words, okay? It truly is. You get your 1,000 likes on your charcuterie. Had you gone live, a video is shared way more than a picture. Miss Cheryl, you found a page that you liked, and I'm sure you saw some videos, and you got to know a particular business. And to your shock and horror, you found me here and realized it was one and the same. I realized that, especially with the pandemic, we were in danger of losing communication. And the one thing that I think all of us missed during the pandemic was that feeling of being linked. For some of us, myself included, I stayed at home. I was told to stay at home, and I did. My husband was an essential worker, so he could go out and he could bring home groceries, because he worked in a grocery store, yay me. And if you don't believe me, I shaved my head because I was staying home. It was a whole different thing. And so I started doing the YouTube Ask About Altrusa. It's a podcast. There is a link to it even on an international site now. I also started a Facebook group, Curious About Altrusa. And I share through my Altrusa of Thibodeau Facebook group, and I share on my personal page. And the thing is, if you show a video, even on your personal page, I promise you, it tells you how many views. And people will say, oh, what's she been up to now? And they'll look, okay? And I know we all do it. We talk to our friends and our family incessantly about, oh, Altrusa, I'd love you to come. But show them what you're doing. Go live. The Ask About Altrusa podcast, it costs me nothing. I will be honest and put a little disclaimer there, because I also have a business that uses a business channel. I have paid for a thing called StreamYard, which allows me to do my studio. And it's wonderful because some of y'all are going to be interviewed over the next day or so, and you're going to be going live to YouTube. But those videos stay, and you can access them later. You can go look at them. You can look under Ask About Altrusa on YouTube. You'll find me. We currently have nobody live watching us. They've all clicked off. They must have thought, uh-oh, it's Gillian again. We've had enough. We've actually got one Facebook user, and I don't know who it is, but somebody said, thank you, Gillian, for sharing Altrusa information. When I'm live, I can see comments coming up, and if somebody wants to ask me a question, I can reply. So going back to that being in touch, my feeling was that in the pandemic, we had people that felt alone. I wanted them to feel that they were with us, that we were with them. I was fortunate that I know a lot of people. I wonder why. I haven't met a stranger. It's just a friend I haven't met yet. So
using the tools that we have, whether it's Facebook Live, you don't need to pay for a StreamYard channel. Use Facebook. Talk to people. Invite people to come help you. Do things. As far as the YouTube is concerned, I find it's been invaluable. I have had people reach out to me and say, I didn't know that. Now, what do I do on the podcast? I had a set of questions. The questions have changed, by the way. If you watch my podcast, that's not what I'm going to ask you. But I would ask them, how long had they been an Altrusan? Who introduced them? What made them decide to become an Altrusan? What was their favourite project ever? If you're ever asked by someone about Altrusa, tell them about the favourite project, the one that makes you go, my story, you know, this 20-second elevator speech that they tell you to practice? I became an Altrusan in January of 2013, and in April, the fertilizer plant in West Texas exploded. It took out 3 of the 4 schools. I was brand new. I went to conference, and as I left conference, I said to Beth Blair, who was my sponsor but also governor, what can we do to help? These are our neighbours. And 3 schools out of 4, literacy is our base. We applied for and got, at the time, the largest ever disaster relief grant of $6,000 from international. You tell me how empowering. I get goosebumps even just now thinking about that. As a brand new Altrusan, the change that I brought about and was able to help those schools. I'm still in touch with the assistant superintendent at that time from the school. She still talks about what we as Altrusans did for her community. We used Facebook because I wasn't a YouTuber then. I wish I had been, but we got people to do videos. Holly Mabry McCoy came with me to the school and did a video. Some of you may have seen it at some of the conventions, where they showed us going into a classroom with boxes of books. Pictures paint 1,000 words. Videos are so much more effective. If you want to know more about YouTube or anything else, please, I'm your incoming communications person. Speak to me. We want the younger members. They are more computer savvy than we are. They are more social media savvy. We need to speak a language that they are going to understand too. So I'm going to shut up now before she gets the big hook and pulls me away, but I'm here to help, okay?
Well, does anyone have any questions, whether for me or for Ms. Jillian?
Is it possible to link a document in your Facebook? Because when I ask friends, check out Altrusa, and we got a couple new members. They sent me an application. I'm thinking it would have been easier if there'd been something online that they could have gone to.
You can send a document through a private message. If you have a club page, club group, not a page, but a group, you can send documents through the group.
They could have a file.
There's a file. And you can send it through a file. We actually, for our club, we use a secondary, we have an additional, it's called Group Me.
Yeah.
And we put all of our clubs on there when we all like to check it. And that's where we share our yearbook. We share, if you have any documents, we can share it through there. You can also poll your members through there. So kind of like SurveyMonkey, you can do a vote through there. And so we've been using that, which was one of the suggestions of our 20-somethings. Because we didn't know nothing about it. So.
Group Works is another one.
So if we don't have any more questions, we'll be dismissed until we come back.
Before we do that,
Yes, ma'am.
This was left in the dining room.
before we go off,
This Julie has one thing before we get finished, but it's not.
Y'all are live. Wave. Say hi to the world. Thank you.
Yes, Mrs. Ann?
I'm going to ask that everyone to take a quick few minutes